Hi, I'm Edison Zane.
Hello, my name is Kenny Vo. Today we're going to be presenting our Zillow-based real estate app named PropertyPulse. The timeline of this presentation, we're going to start off by explaining the problem. Then we're going to go into the outline of how we're going to create this app, and then the solution upon how we're going to solve the issue of just creating the UI to actually have it kind of relate almost like the Zillow application. Then we're going to go into milestone one, and then milestone two. We're going to explain the required features and the extra features that we did add. And then we're going to go over to the UI of the application to go in detail upon what is shown upon the app. So we're going to start off with the problem. Our problem here is to create an interactive, user-friendly real estate app that is able to have buyers and sellers communicate with each other, create listings, and even look at listings and communicate between each other through a messaging app. The outline is the first one is we're going to have a search screen. The search screen is where users can look up for their ideal property based on a filter that is going to be available at the top of the screen. Here, users will be able to put in their price range, their bedroom, how many bedrooms they'll like, how many bathrooms they'll like, properties, type. So like they can do condo, houses, or even like single family homes, things like that. And then they can also search city and states. The next screen we'll also have is going to be our favorite screen. Here, the buyers are able to basically add properties to a list where they basically give the most interest in, um, hence the name favorites. The next one is going to be our comparison screen. Here, the users are able to select 2 to 3 different properties and have it side by side on a chart table kind of listing, and then it will be able to compare different prices amongst the 2 to 3 properties, or they can even look and see what has the better pricing or the better options. It will even display the different details of the property as well. The other option is sellers will be able to create a property. uh all users are going to be able to create properties, but primarily it's probably going to be the seller that's going to be creating it. Here, sellers are able to, once we go into the UI, it will basically show you how sellers are able to input all the details and images for that listing as well. The last one is we are going to create a messaging screen where buyers and sellers are able to communicate with each other and continuously have updated messages and be able to see when it was sent and who it was sent by. The solution of this is we're going to use Flutter, Dart, and Firebase to create an easy to use real estate app. So with the Firebase, this is basically going to hold our database, and then we have Flutter as the framework and Dart as the coding language. After this, I'm gonna give it over to Edison to explain our milestones.
All right, so for our first milestone, this was mostly just around our UI design, the layout of all the UI, and then just basic navigation between everything. The UI design was just a simple, rounded look. It has also a light and dark mode for users who want to swap between that. The layouts, it was simply just splitting all these, like the main features that Kenny listed out into their own screens. And on some of these screens, certain other screens can also be accessed through them. The basic navigations is just simple swipes, up, down, sideways, button presses. There's lots of ways to just quickly navigate through all the screens. Next is our milestone 2. This was more around the functionality and database setup, along with some testing. This was where we essentially just started adding in all the functionalities for the selling and buying of listings, the messaging function, and any of the other extra functions we added in. We use Firebase for our authentication, our database, and messaging. This way we could allow users to create accounts, log in, set up databases to hold all the data of the listings and the messaging, or just the accounts in general. And then we also had Firebase messaging set up so we could do the in-app messaging between seller and buyers. For testing, it was just as simple as running the code, making sure it works, trying it out for ourselves, and then doing all the possible things that could be done on the code. Next, here were some of the required features. We were required to set up the user authentication and profiles. This let users create and log in on their own personalized accounts thanks to Firebase authentication and database. The next one would be the property listing management. This was just letting users create and edit their own listings that others could also see and interact with. After that, we had the advanced property search. This was just creating all the different filters for searching houses. This would allow users to find certain houses they would like way faster than just manually going through every single house. Next, after that, we have favorites and comparisons. Users can quickly favorite properties to keep in a favorited list. This way, they can quickly go back and see all the old properties they wanted to look at, and then they can also compare any properties they want to see, so they can quickly look at the details between the two and decide off of that. After that, we got the in-app messaging. Users can quickly communicate in the app, text each other, and then the tour scheduling. Users can set up tours with sellers and also view the times for their tours and like see when it's scheduled on the app if they need to check up on that. And then lastly, we have the extra features. We just had a UI design and quick filters. For the quick filters, users can quickly sort the featured and the recent listings by price, bedrooms, or bathrooms on the home screen, just in case they just like don't want to go into the whole search screen. They just want to quickly look through the home screen and sort there. There's quick filters that you can apply there.
So for the UI design, majority of it is personal preference, kind of extra. So I did have a AI generated uh, logo that was created. This one, I kind of just put in a prompt of what I wanted to see in the logo itself, which will be displayed on the login screen when I show you guys the application. But that was mainly the extra feature of it. And then the other part I did add was to view your password as you're typing it, almost like if you were to use other applications where they'll show you the last character that you inputted for like a couple seconds, just to ensure that you know that you put in the right character before you click enter and that your password was correct. Moving on, we're going to go over to the database. I'll let Edison
Uh,
go over most of this for you guys, and then we'll go into the code.
all right, yeah, this is just our a quick look at our Firebase database. Here you can see that we have all the chats for the messaging, the different properties, the tours, and what does that say at the bottom?
Users.
And the users. Okay. And for the database to properly function, we also actually had to create what are called indexes. This essentially helped the query performance and made it so users wouldn't get stuck on loading screens for certain interactions. And now we'll just go on to the code, do a quick overview of like the key services and providers, and then we'll move on into the actual app demo itself. So first things first, we have the authentic auth service. Essentially, what it does here is it allows users. It connects the app to Firebase, and this is where we would register users and set up their profiles. It would also allow us to help the user log in through the email password system we have set up through Firebase authentication. Uh, I think that's it. Next is the property service. And property service here, we actually allows you to create allows users to create their property listings and then connects it to the properties collection in the database. Uh, After that, also it keeps a stream of all the properties created by the current user. This essentially just what it does. It continuously updates the properties lists created by the user constantly, rather than it being like a one-time update. It is constantly, anytime something is done, it will constantly update. And then it also allows you to delete a property based on that property specific ID in the database too. Now I'll go to the providers. We'll start with auth provider. Here, we essentially have Firebase essentially always checks. It constantly checks if the user is logged in, so it can keep all their data there. It also calls the auth services register function to help out with the registering for the account, and also helps with the login function. And lastly, it also has the log out function, which will log the user out, and this should take them back to the login register screen. Uh, Next, we have the comparison manager. What it essentially it does is it will grab the property's ID from our database and then send all that data to the comparison screen where it will take the data and put it side by side, and then on that UI's screen, the code it's in the UI code. It will color the details and it'll let the user see the differences. And lastly, we have the property provider file. Here we just stream all the properties from Firestore as a list to all the users. This essentially just keeps updating any and all properties for all the users to see. Next, we also have to make sure all the images are always in a list so that it can be scrolled through. Some of the variables for all the properties. We have then we have all the functions. We have functions to update the existing property, a function to delete a property. We want to stream the user's favorites, so it's always updating to make sure when users add in a new favorite or delete a favorite, it quickly updates it, and then you just see it disappear as is instead of like doing it and then it just stays there until you leave the screen, go back, and like small little problems like that. Then we also have methods to check if the property is in the user's favorites. We can add or remove a favorite, and that is it for property provider. Now I'll hand it off to Kenny to do the app demo real quick.
All right, so this is going to be our UI application. I am running through Android Studio. This is going to be an Android phone as well. So on the initial screen that you're going to get whenever you load the app is going to obviously put you into the welcome screen, which is also our login and registry screen. Here, this is the AI generated logo that we created. This is just basically to give it a little more of a aesthetic to the login screen, so it's not too boring to the eye. Under that will be the card for your login, pretty much. So it has your welcome to Property Pulse, and then right here is a little description that says log into your Property Pulse account. Here is your email input and then your password input. Now, for anyone that doesn't have an account yet, whether they are a seller or buyer, you just click this bottom thing down here. It's gonna prompt up the card for you to put in and create your account. You just put in your full name. So let's just put in a random name. And then give me 1 second. And then they can put in their email. So jdoe@example.com. The next slot will be for their password. So we're just gonna put a basic password. And then for these two, so the confirm password will check to ensure that it matches the actual password that you put in originally. If it is correctly matched together, you can just click create account, or you can click already have an account and log in. So we're gonna test this to ensure that it shows up on the database. So first, click create account, and then it will bring you back to the login screen with a little message that says account has been created. Just to make sure that it is added into the database, we'll go back to the database, go to users, and right here you will see that new account that was created. After that, you can log in. I am going to log into my personal admin account because this one has majority of the listings, and then we will also have the buyer side that we can log into later just to check that side as well. Okay. So for mine, it's gonna log in real quick. Give me 1 second. And then, oh, give me 1 second. I forgot my pass. Oh, wait. Sorry, I incorrectly put in the. Oh, there you go. Okay, so after you guys log in successfully, the first screen it will bring you to is going to be the home screen. In the home screen, you have the tab for your scheduled tours. Currently, since this is the seller, I do not have any tours right now that I am personally going to. There is a section for me to see the tours that have been requested for me as the seller. We'll go into that. It's going to be shown on the profile screen. But other than that, we'll move down to here. This is going to be our compared button. So, like we said earlier, you can compare 2 to 3 different properties. So let's just click 2 random properties for right now. When you click them, you can click up to 3. I'm gonna just do 3 for this presentation. So when you click compare, it will bring up this chart view. This chart view basically tells you what is the better option. We do I do eventually want to implement something where it will check all the data and then have you pretty much give a better bang for your buck kind of output. But as of right now, it will compare between data upon what is the lowest pricing, what is the most amount of rooms you get or bathrooms, and then what offers the most square footage. The year built, some of these properties I have not put in the year built yet, but you are allowed to put those in as well. Um, Aside from that, moving on to the next feature, you obviously here is going to be kind of like the quick access is more of like that sorting that Edison explained earlier. If you want to sort by pricing or you want to sort by bedrooms, what gives you the most bedrooms, or you can even sort by bathrooms as well. Over here is basically just quick listings, just a view or whatever was recently inputted into the database. Um, for you to view as well. If you click one of these listings, for each card, it does have the title of the property, and then we also have the address of the property and then the year it was built in. Under that will be a estimated value of the home for that time being until you guys go and actually go to the listing and figure out how much you are going to pay for a house. When you click on each property, it will bring up basically a detail screen. Here you can up here will be the title of it of the property. The heart that is in red right now is basically your favorite and unfavorite option. So if you click it and it's red, that means you added it to your favorite screen. If it's not red, it's not in there at all, so it's not one of your favorited listings. I'm gonna just put it as a favorited listing for now, just so it can show up on later. Next, since this is my property on this admin account that I created, it will show up the option to either delete or edit the listing, which is these 2 icons right here. When we go over to the buyer account, it will see that these 2 icons will no longer be there, and it will just be the heart. But since we are on the seller side, I actually can click a listing that is not mine. So this is a listing that isn't from the admin. This one is basically just so I can show you that it does change whether you're a buyer or seller of the property. So, like I said before, since I am not the seller of this specific property, it takes out the icon that allows you to edit and delete the property as well. But you still keep the option to add the heart, which will add it to the favorite screen. Going back here, this is the edit. If you click the pencil, it will show up all the information and details of the property, the title, the location, the price, the bedroom, square footage, year built, property type, which you can either choose house, condo, townhome, or multifamily home. And then there's like a brief description that you can put in if you want to change the description. If you were to change any of these, it will update back on the actual listing itself. And then down here are basically all the images that will display for the detail screen as well that you can also add. As of right now, since this is a application for demo, it is using URL images rather than the actual images. But later on, when the app is finished and fully created, implemented, the users will be able to add images as if it was the actual app from their library. On the Going back to the detail screen, it basically just shows out everything that the seller had put into the edit. Here you have obviously the title. Here's the address of the home. This is the property type. Since this is a house, it will display house. This is the value of the house, the square footage, year built, and then you also have the two cards to display your number of bedrooms and bathrooms. On the bottom will be the description. Whether it's long or short, it will auto generate to basically however long the description will be. I'm gonna go into a buyer standpoint real quick. So from a buyer screen, if you were to click one of these properties, the addition on the buyer screen is that you can also add to compare, message the seller, or schedule a tour. So we're gonna go back to that same property. Let's say I want to message the seller. I can click message. Hello, I want to inquire a property. So after that is sent, it will send over to my admin account, and I will show you that in a couple minutes to show you that it actually updates on that side as well. So on the other option that is on the screen as a buyer is that you can also schedule a tour. For the tour, you can either do virtual or in person. Here you can also pick a date, and let's just pick a random date. Let's do the 31st. We'll do a in person. We'll pick a time. Let's do about 10 a.m. And then you could add a note to seller if you would like, but it is optional. We're just going to leave that blank for right now. And then we're going to send the request. The request has been sent to the seller. So that's pretty much all on the buyer side that is kind of different from the seller. So we're just going to log out and go back to the admin. All right. So back on this side, since I did just send that request for a scheduled tour, we're going to move over to the profile screen just to get that part to show. So on the profile screen, it's basically the setting screen. You can change it from light to dark mode, which will change the whole UI to kind of like that black theme that like people probably like if they were to choose dark mode. Under that will be the profile information where you just can edit their name. They cannot edit email, but they can also edit their phone number. Under that is going to be the logout, and then this is mainly for the seller, the tour calendar. Here, it kind of is a little hard to view on dark mode, but on light mode, it basically gives you this dot indicator to show that you have a upcoming tour that you need to do, and when you click on it, it will show you what kind of tour it is, what time it is, and then it'll tell you the title of it, and then the status of whether it's confirmed or not. So we're gonna go to that new listing. This is the new listing or the new tour that we just requested. The seller is able to decline or confirm it. We're just gonna confirm it, and then it will auto update and give you a thing that says tour is confirmed. And now that is now added to the tour calendar for the seller side. Moving on, we're gonna go to the search screen. Here, you can change the value. It will auto update based on the value that you want to stay in, the price range. If you can see down here, it is updating as I increase the price range. And then if you want to change how many bedrooms you want, let's say you want to do 4, 5, 4, you do 2. As of right now, there's probably not a home that I added that will display this amount. But if you were to have more listings, it will be able to filter it out based on whatever choice you choose to filter it out through. We also added this little feature right here in this right side where you can change the view of how you see your listings. You can either do it in a up, down listing, or you can do it in like kind of a grid. This empty space right here is basically added to ensure that there is no over pixeling, so that there isn't that part of the area that gives you an error because it is too large. The next one is going to be our created listing feature. Most of our features are created through Zillow. I did pull a lot of this from Zillow. So if you were to add one, you can go back here and then let's go to Zillow and find a listing that we want to add. So let's say we want to add this one. Just put a random title, be a brick single family. And then location, you can just copy this. You can copy the address, paste it in. Pricing is 490,000. And then bedrooms will be 4 and 3. Square footage will be 2648. The year built is about, if I can find it somewhere in here. We're just gonna put a random year built, so let's just say 2005. This is a house, and then the description basically will be this part right here. Just for demo reasons, we're just gonna copy and paste that in there. Give me 1 second. And then image, we're gonna put a couple images in just for the time being. So we'll copy that image, paste it in there. Wait, give me 1 second. And then let me go to, if you want to copy this image, add another. So this would be the home. And then if you want to add some more listings, pictures, we're going to add like about 3 or 4 just to ensure that we're not taking up too much time of this presentation just to add images. All right. So after you do everything and you fill out the screen for the listing details, you can click either save, or if you have more images to add, you can. It will basically pop up another card for you to put in another URL. And then after that, you'll click save. It'll say listing has been created. And if you go back to the home screen, it will auto update into the database and then give you the viewing of the listing that you just inputted, which is right here. And then everything will display as like it would on the original demo shown for this one. Moving on, we're going to go to the favorite screen. Here are all the favorited properties that I have already favorited. So let's say I do want to unfavorite one. If I unfavorite it, it will automatically take it out of the favorite screen. If I want to refavorite something, I can always click on it, favorite it, and then it will automatically be added back to that favorite screen as well to auto update. The other screen, the last screen we're going to go over is our messaging screen. So here, these conversations were our tester conversations to ensure that this messaging actually works and was auto updating as messages were being sent. We wanted to make this messaging screen basically as authentic towards a normal messaging app as much as we could. So you do have this indicator to tell you you have a new message. The number will change based on how many messages you haven't read or seen yet. And then each one is going to also show you the name of the person that is sending you the message. So since we were sending a message from buyer 1, that was the name that shows up. Here is Edison that was sending me a message just to test. The seller, and then the other account that I made, which was Kevin. So we were gonna, earlier I did show you guys that we did send a message to the seller of the property, and it said, hello, I wanted to inquire a property. Here, if you click on it, it will show the message with also a timestamp of when the message was sent. It's just for you to respond to. You can also add images, same thing, send an image URL, and then it will just show you that image as well. It'll pop up the image and then the timestamp, just as if it was a regular message. And then I would be, hello, thank you for messaging. So after that is set, if I go back to buyers, it will update on that side and the buyer will be able to see it as well. I am just going to show you that on the buyer side and just to ensure that the messaging went through. Oh, that's not the password. Okay. Here you go. This is the message that was sent. Like it showed before, it was a 2 instead of a 1. That means I had 2 messages that I haven't read. And here are the messages that I just sent through my admin screen. Overall, that is our application and our tour app, the tour of our UI for our Property Pulse application. I hope you guys enjoyed listening and watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the application. And that will conclude our presentation today for our Property Pulse app.